I wanted to provide a live update on this desk build for my daughter. I'm at the point now where I'm ready for finish. What I've done is I've created a wraparound with walnut, and the tabletop is a veneer of cherry, North American cherry. With the exception of the top, the entire table is made of solid wood, even the drawers. Now, what I did, I wanted to put in an accent, and so in keeping with this style of wrapping the perimeter with walnut, I actually did a little quarter round or a half round detail all the way around. As well as I ran down with, on the inside of each of my legs, with walnut. I wanted to kind of create this frame in walnut and cherry. I'm really happy with the way things have turned out, and I'm just about ready to put finish on it. I've chosen to forego using stain. I'm going to opt for just a natural finish. In looking at it, I didn't want to lose the clarity of the walnut and tint it. And so that's why I'm going to go with just a regular polyurethane finish with a semi-gloss. It's probably one of the more hard-wearing finishes, especially for a tabletop. You can't beat polyurethane for its longevity and its wear resistance. I'm just getting my finish ready. It's always important when your finish has been sitting for a long period of time that you stir it. As you can see, what this is actually the leveling compound, and also the compound that's going to help this product dry. So you don't want to throw that out, but what we want to do is we want to mix it in gently. You should never shake a can of polyurethane. That's going to give you bubbles, which is what you don't want to have end up in your finished product. There. I got a nice homogeneous mixture. Don't want to waste any. Now, this is not a brand new brush. I normally will soak my brushes in mineral spirits. Then I'll actually just clean it. Oddly enough, I use a cat brush to clean off any of the excess, pull out any of the loose bristles, and then we're ready to start. So just a couple notes on how I went about preparing my shop for the finishing process. As you can see, I'm a hobbyist. I don't have a dedicated area for finishing, but I don't let that deter me. In order to get the quality of finish I'm looking for, I've waited a minimum of 48 hours since I did any work within the shop to let any airborne particles settle. I've gone around, I've swept the floor as best as I could, as well as I wiped everything down on the table. During the process where I'm going to finish things, I'm not going to be doing any other work within the shop. Here goes. Ooh, look at that walnut pop. When applying your finish, you always want to follow the wood grain whenever possible. Now this is an oil-based finish. I find, personally speaking, that I get more consistent results using an oil-based finish. One of the reasons why I like an oil-based finish is because North American cherry, when it's exposed to sunlight or UV, it tends to darken a bit with age, and it has a patina. Water-based finishes have a UV inhibitor that prevents this from happening. Now don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a water-based finish, but what I am looking to achieve with this particular piece, I'm not going to get it using a water-based finish. So that's why I'm opting for oil-based. I also find over the years I get really consistent results, and this is going to turn, it's going to have a nice amber tone as it ages. I'm only going to do the tabletop this evening because of the fact that I'm going to have to turn everything upside down in order to get the bottom. And this is better approached in stages. I want to make sure we got nice even coverage. And again, so right here, I'm going with the grain where it's wrapped, and then I'm going to kind of feather it out. Now, one of the keys to success when working with polyurethane is not rush the process. It's going to take at least 6 coats to build up the proper amount of finish onto this table. We want a finish that's going to last a lifetime, or at least in my case, I'd like to get at least 20 years out of it. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to have to use at least 6 coats to build up the level of protection that we want. One of the nice things about this type of a finish is that we can actually wet sand it and then straight away go ahead and add more finish, whether it would be in 5 years or in 10 years. That's one of the advantages of these newer finishes these days. As I said, once this is done, I'm not doing anything in the shop for the rest of the evening. When I'm in the finishing process, nothing goes on in the workshop. I want to avoid creating any other dust to contaminate my finish. When I come in here tomorrow, I'm going to wet sand this coat. In the event that I may have raised the grain, or, and dare I say it, have any kind of runs in my finish, I want to address those immediately instead of just putting successive coats on it. Yeah, this is really, really looking nice. And get on the edge. Now, you're better off to do many thin coats than to do a few thick coats. You're going to get a much higher quality of finish that you'll be happy with. Too often, you give into the temptation, you start rushing. And when you start to rush, you sacrifice quality. make sure I've got no runs or drips, especially on the edges. This is going to look good. Thanks for tuning in. I'll keep you posted as things progress.